Good morning, HKS. You're supposed to say it back. Good morning, HKS. There we go. Perfect. Beautiful. My name is Zubair Merchant, and I've had the honor of serving as president of the Kennedy School Student Government this year. The federal government tried to prevent today from happening, but yet here we are. It brings me so much joy seeing everyone here today in JFK Park from all corners of the world to celebrate my peers and your loved ones, the most dedicated, compassionate, and driven people I know, the Harvard Kennedy School class of 2025. As Annie was saying, the first question that we're asked when we get here is, what's your why? After 2 years, it can feel really cliche or overused, but answering it is still as fundamental and urgent on our last day as it was on our first. For me, my why has always been seva, the Hindi word for service. The ethic of serving one's community was passed down to me by my Ismaili Muslim heritage and by my parents. My mother, Khadija, who's here today, and my late father, Akbar, who passed away in 2021, but left our family and the world with the blessing of his selfless service. When I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, my sister Saba and I were leaving the mall with our dad when an elderly man who just missed his bus approached us, asking for a ride home. Despite his 2 young and cranky kids with him in the back seat, Akbar said yes to the stranger. I thought he was crazy, because I was a kid, and when you're a kid, what do you learn in school? Stranger danger. But to him, when you see someone in need, you help. The man had memory issues and couldn't point us exactly to his house, so we drove around town while watching the sunset and eventually dropped him to the local police station for help. My dad didn't say a word about it the rest of the ride home or ever bring it back up again. Because to Akbar Merchant, values weren't just something that you spoke about, they were something you lived. His service to society and quiet integrity were louder than any speech that I could give on this stage today. So HKS class of 2025, what is your seva to the world? Our 2 years here have been filled with thorny, complex, so-called global problems. But these aren't global problems. At HKS, they're local to our community. We're directly affected by them. Less than 2 months after we started here, the atrocities of October 7th in Israel destabilized the world and our HKS community. Our Jewish and Israeli peers were directly affected and still feel immense grief, fear, and pain. And every day for the past 18 months, we've all watched the complete annihilation of Gaza and its people live streamed to our phones. The destruction of Palestinian heritage, culture, and history. Intentional starvation and famine. Over 55,000 people killed, 70% of whom were women and children. And on our campus, threats and intimidation targeting Arab and Muslim students. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that last week Columbia University had their graduation, and our fellow policy student Mahmoud Khalil should have walked across that stage. Ukraine remains under siege. Conflicts continue in Syria and Sudan, and tensions have escalated in my ancestral homes of India and Pakistan. Together, we must recommit to pluralism and peace, and to combating anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all forms of hate worldwide. The 2024 presidential election fundamentally changed what it means to be a policy student, a Harvard student, a public citizen, and a citizen of the world. Sorry, a public servant and a citizen of the world. This administration has continuously attacked our university, and their threat to revoke student visa sponsorship jeopardizes the very DNA of HKS, our diverse student body. The Kennedy School is 60% international, and our potluck of people represents over 100 countries. Our diversity is our strength. And it's the students who make Harvard great, not the other way around. Our peers have unwillingly spent the last few months becoming experts in immigration law with their fates up in the air, while also balancing academics and having a social life and extracurriculars. While going to the world's premier public policy school, we've witnessed the dismantling of government and public institutions, the decline of norms, and an attack on the very idea of public service. If there's one thing I've learned at HKS, it's that adaptive problems require not technical solutions, but to change hearts and minds. As public policy students, we have an obligation to confront these problems, educate ourselves, and to listen to other views, and above all, contribute to solving them. As Harvard students, we have an obligation to use the privilege of our degrees and our educations to fight for those without the same opportunities. As global citizens, we all in this room have an obligation to open doors and make space for people who are different than us, and to cultivate a society where everyone, regardless of color, culture, or creed, has a place. With liberal democracy in decline worldwide and polarization tearing at our unity, what are we supposed to do as Kennedy School graduates? Dude, I have no idea. I'm 27 years old. How am I supposed to answer that? That's crazy. But I have one idea. We can build solidarity. I've always believed that the best part of HKS is the people. Although we've been privileged to learn from amazing professors and top experts, coursework could be learned online if needed. And while I love our speaker events in the John F. Kennedy Jr. Forum, they're also live streamed on YouTube. But what could never be replaced is the community that we have built here. The same community that steps up for one another at life's worst moments, but is there to celebrate you at life's best. The same community that will believe in you and support you even when it feels like the entire world is against you. HKS, as the world ebbs back and forth between order and disorder, and justice and inequality, we have a fundamental role to play as policymakers and future leaders to build solidarity, to make our communities and institutions stronger, and to ward off authoritarianism or fascism. When those who seek to divide us spew their hatred, we should come together tighter and recommit to pluralism and to peace. We must bring people together from all walks of life, build power around a shared vision for human prosperity, and use that power to enact the policy we studied here that we know will make the world a better place. That will be my seva after the Kennedy School. What will be yours? I want to thank my family for their undying support, the school for this great education, but most of all, I want to thank you, the class of 2025, for uplifting me, helping me find my voice, and creating a place that I could call home. Thank you so much, and congratulations, everyone.
The Robert F. Kennedy Award for Excellence in Public Service is one of our highest honors, and it is presented to a graduating Kennedy School student or students whose commitment, activities, and contributions to public service are extraordinary in the image of Robert Kennedy himself. It is therefore really a humbling honor to have the opportunity to present these awards to acknowledge some of our students whose impact and service have truly been remarkable. This year, 2 individuals stood out in a very crowded field of nominees. The selection committee was particularly moved by the recipients' selflessness in service to others, in their communities and as powerful convening forces right here at the Harvard Kennedy School. It perhaps goes without saying that leadership is always a challenging endeavor, but in the past 2 years especially, while people have been inclined to shy away from leadership roles because they recognize the risks, social and otherwise, to being the face out front, these 2 individuals have bravely leaned in time and again. Neither one puts themselves first. It's not about attention or the need for recognition. It's about leadership in the interest of making the spaces they inhabit and the world more generally a better place. In short, they both embody true public service excellence. I'm pleased now to share a bit about each recipient in turn. The second and final RFK Award recipient is MPP student Zubair Merchant. Zubair has, as you now know, been guided in life by the principle of seva, selfless service, and he has truly embodied that principle in his many contributions to the world, and especially here at the Kennedy School. Prior to coming to the Kennedy School, he was actively engaged in political campaigns and as an assistant teacher through AmeriCorps in order to advance structural change in American society. Throughout his life, he has also been regularly engaged in service to the Ismaili community as a religious instructor, a debate coach, and a volunteer helping to increase Ismaili voter registration. This summer, he will serve as program director of Camp Embark, helping Ismaili middle schoolers develop social, emotional, and critical thinking skills. But what truly sets him apart is his unflagging service to the Kennedy School community as an orientation leader, and most influentially, as the Kennedy School Student Government Executive Vice President and then President. As one peer told us, quote, Zubair has been the cornerstone of student life, supporting student organizations, lending leadership to conferences, and serving as the behind-the-scenes point guard who ensures others succeed. Through his relationship with the dean and senior leadership, Zubair amplifies student interest and creates meaningful change, end quote. As a member myself of the school's senior leadership team, I really couldn't agree more. In every interaction, in every email he sent to the student body, and in every meeting where he represented students, Zubair put students and their interests first and always sought an avenue for collaboration and constructive dialogue, even about the most contentious issues. Whether it was advocating for student safety, funding for student organizations and activities, or student representation in strategic discussions about the school, he did so with diplomacy and tact, and a passion for ensuring the student experience was of the very highest quality. Zubair truly embodies the type of leadership we teach here at the Kennedy School. He served as a model for his peers and will no doubt go on to lead in communities in which he's engaged in the future in ways that will make all of us proud. As Zubair told us himself, quote, public service has taught me humility, sacrifice, and solidarity. It has allowed me to connect with others on such deep levels and see the humanity in people I thought were different than me. Service has a way of acting as a moral magnet and attracting people together for a shared cause greater than themselves, end quote. Zubair's leadership of the student body during an incredibly difficult couple of years is a testament to his own humanity and has indeed been an act of selfless service. It is therefore my honor to recognize him with the RFK Award.